this isn't going to be like a webinar format. It's going to be pure meeting format. It's a question and answer thing. I welcome all the questions. Just tell me whatever it is that you want to know. Okay, so does everybody knows everybody on this, in this group? There's only like 4 of us. So everybody who knows everyone. If do you want to like just quickly introduce yourselves? So does anyone want to start, or shall I introduce myself? Let's just start. Oh, okay, Raju, come. You want to start? Yes. Okay, let me get Ivana to come in. Okay, so I'm going to start off with myself. And first, I apologize for letting you guys in only on the dot, because I tested everything at 7 o'clock. I swear I did. And at 8 o'clock, they all decide not to work on me. So I had to like, oh, the last minute thing. Okay, so for those of you, I guess you all know me. I'm Serene. I've been doing this for a year. And because of the recent COVID incidences, everybody's been kind of like, oh, no, how do we do this? How do we do that? And so on. And so I thought I'll get together and let everybody kind of have a chance to ask whatever questions that you want to ask. The questions that I put up on the chat group is basically questions that were already asked by other people. I have like 11 of them, which I will get through. But if you guys have like more urgent questions that you want me to answer like here and now, just shoot. Because what it is you are here, so it's for you. It's not going to be a webinar format, so none of you are registered, none of you are like attendees. You have sound all the time, you have video all the time. Feel free to interrupt me, talk to me, and ask whatever questions you want. Okay, so that's basically it. So before we start, can I just get everybody to do a quick introduction? Because I think some of you are from different groups, so you may not know each other very well. Does anybody want to start? Just kind of like say, hi, I'm, you know, this, and this is my question, that kind of thing.
Hi, I start.
Okay, yes, go.
All right. Hi, Serene. This is Florence. Hi. Well, I'm happy to join. I'm happy to get some tips on how to run events on Zoom, especially. I know you're using quite extensively Zoom. I'm not so familiar with it, so any tips? I have a couple of questions on it. I will put it in the chat, so then you can also cover them as we go. And I'm engaged in Prime Time, so the Professional Women's Organization, for those who doesn't know it on the call. We are also probably shifting a lot of our events or content through webinars now because of the current situation. So I'm trying to get a bit more insight from Zoom from you, actually. Thank you, Serene.
Yeah, sure. Who wants to go next? I think a lot of you are from Zoom, actually. No, sorry, are from Prime Time, actually. Yes.
Hi, Serene, Raju here.
Yes, hi.
So yeah, I'm here based in Singapore. I'm an executive coach. And yeah, interested in learning some basics of how to get started with this, hosting things online, including on Zoom. And very generous of you to offer to share.
Thank you. Oh yes, please feel free to show your faces, show your things. We're just doing introductions so everybody kind of get to know of everybody else. And I would also appreciate if you kind of let me know a little bit, like, you know, what you're using it for. So if you tell me you're an executive coach, I presume you're mainly using it for this group or one-to-one coaching. You know, but just feel free to jump in if there's something else. Okay, who wants to go next?
Okay, I can try. Shivali here. Hi. So I'm dialing in from India, Bangalore. I have been, I'm a public speaker for a while. I speak in the space of organizations maturing through the digital transformation journey. Come with about 20 years of experience in this space, so I share my experience on that. I also am a very passionate woman inclusion practitioner. So I speak in the space of inclusion of women in corporate environment and how you can create a more inclusive environment. I think, Serena, first of all, thank you for creating this forum, because as you rightly said, you know, given the environment, a lot of conferences are either canceling or they are moving into options of going online. And I actually have 2 conferences coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks where they requested me. I actually sent them a message saying, sorry, I won't be able to travel. And they've said, can you join us through video or WebEx or, you know, do a Zoom. So while I'm very comfortable with the tool, I don't think that's the problem. The thing is, I've always used doing face-to-face engagement. So the thing I'm hoping to learn is instead of becoming a monologue and losing my audience and they're going to sleep on the other end, how in a video keep people engaged as you deliver your content. Is the formula different? Do you change your content altogether? Is the delivery mechanism, obviously because of it being video and WebEx, even though it's live, how do you know that people are engaged and getting what you're saying?
Okay. If I didn't get to it later on, I know a lot of you are speakers on the line. Just remind me to talk about this sort of speaker feedback, because one of the problems with a lot of speakers is that, okay, when you speak, you see the audience immediate reaction, and then a lot of us who have been doing this for a while, we adjust according to audience reaction. So when all you're looking at is a round camera head, which is what I'm looking at actually, that throws a lot of us off our game. So if I don't get to that, just remind me that I have promised to tell you guys about it. Okay, does anybody else want to go next? Can we just please keep it a short thing, just, you know, one question, who you are, what do you want out of this session? Anybody?
I don't mind going next. Yeah, I'm Charlotte. I mostly speak on women's issues. I guess I'm an expert in women's brand strategy, but I also do a lot of work in the diversity inclusion space from a strategic, innovative workshop facilitation kind of place in terms of how we apply it. Obviously had a lot of clients having to cancel International Women's Day events that we were supposed to be facilitating workshops for. So we've been exploring quite a lot of platforms that you can do remote workshopping. I know it's not going to be the same as face-to-face, you know, 8 hours in a room, but obviously where there's opportunities for us to look at a different channel so that the day or week or month of women isn't forgotten. Yeah, we'd really like to see anything you've got that we can potentially utilize.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Who wants to go next? Natalie, it was too fast. You have to speak a bit slowly. Okay, I don't think it's the speed anymore. I think that your connection isn't very good because I'm not really hearing it. Are the rest of you guys hearing it?
No, no.
Okay, all right. So, do you want to try logging off, Natalie, and getting on again? Because we really can't hear. We can't hear what you're saying at all. Okay, next, somebody else. Nobody wants to introduce themselves? Oh, come on, people, introduce yourselves. At least I know where you're coming from and then what do you want out of this topic.
Hi, Serene. It's Carolina here. Hi, everyone.
Oh, hello, Carolina. Hi.
So I'm mainly the trainer. I also do some coaching and some speaking, but my majority of my work is coming from full-day training programs on leadership development. I specialized in impact, influence, overcoming fear, emotional intelligence type of topic. And my interest is the same. Loads of training programs got canceled, and I got some of them to do as webinars. But my biggest concern is like, how do I turn all-day program into a few webinars? It's not going to be the same. Interaction is not going to be the same. Energy is not going to be the same. And also, I do a lot of interactivity. I don't think I can do role plays fully the same way as I do in the physical room online. So I'm looking for some tips, how to engage people, how to do them practice some ideas. And yeah, ideally getting me up to speed online, and maybe this is a new chance for us, right?
And what? Sorry?
Maybe this is a great chance for us to embrace technology,
yes.
to run
yes.
more
yes.
online training.
Yes. I will tell you guys later that I'm actually quite excited about this, because one of the big questions people ask me is, you know, everybody, the moment they hear that you're online, they don't want to come. But now, the moment they hear that you're not online, they don't want to come. So it's like, you know, how often do we get a chance like this, right? Okay, so anybody else wants to just jump in. Look, if you really don't want to introduce yourself, I'm not going to force you, but at least just jump in so everybody knows where you are and I know what you want, basically.
Hey, Serene, this is KG. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. You're awesome for doing this. I am, of course, calling on behalf of Keynote. My day job is a trainer coach, and I do a lot of online sessions. Given what's happening in Asia right now, my interest is to find out if there's any new practices that we can embed to make it a lot more accessible to clients who've perhaps not used this platform before.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Who else wants to go?
Natalie again?
Yes. Hi. Oh, yes. We hear you very well. Yes. Great.
Great. We made it. So, well, thank you for hosting this event, Serene. I speak on the topic of clutter and personal organization and conduct some workshops on these topics. And whether due to the situation or not, I'm interested to learn about webinars, what we can do online. And especially for me is how to keep the audience engaged without, you know, this physical connection almost. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking after from this session.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else wants to go?
Hi, Serene. Hello, everyone. My name is Ivana. I'm the lead for the Keynote training program, and I also work with KG, with Keynote, and MetaMind. So I'm also a trainer, a speaker. I speak on well-being, and we're going to move to more online training. So I have similar requests to the other fellow trainers. How to make session engaging? What are the tricks to keep people interested if they can see us, if we can make them interact as in a live session? Thank you so much for organizing this.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ivana. Anyone else? Anyone else want to go? Okay, so if you like last 5 seconds, if you want to go, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, ding, 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 ding. All right, a lot of you are looking at engagement. So the questions I got earlier on were a lot more basic questions, like what platform, what equipment, and things like that. But it sounds to me like a lot of you do already know the platform, know the equipment and so on. And you're really looking at things that are a little bit more higher up the skill set level, which is, you know, engagement, doing it for the whole day and things like that. Is that correct? Or do you still want me to go through the basics? Okay, so before I go on, I know some of you came in late. I just want to say that this is not going to be a webinar. It really is purely going to be AMA, which means that you guys all have your voice at all times, you have your video at all times. You feel free to interrupt me. If you have a question, you can feel free to throw it at me. You can type it in the chat room, I will be looking at it. But if you just want to say it out, please feel free. Okay, so it's more like kind of like a fireside chat, not really like a webinar thing. So do you guys want me to go through the basic, or you want me to go through, you know, like start from engagement, from long series, from role play, that kind of level?
If you don't mind covering the basics as well.
Okay, all right, yeah, sure. So I think the first question that I got, which I'm going to show now, can you guys see this? Or am I not, is it not working? Yes. One of the things you will realize, and which I kind of realize every single time, is that people, like, no matter how much you test it, you will find that it still lets you down, sadly. Okay, can you guys all see this? Am I sharing it correctly?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you're all seeing my PowerPoint, correct?
Yes.
Yes, no, yes, sir? Okay, good. So what happens is that the PowerPoint, it's the questions. And the first question, which is like kind of the most basic, is what's the maximum number of people, and you know, what's the maximum number of time, amount of time, and so on. Maximum number of people, as far as I know, most platforms support up to 1,000. Zoom supports actually up to 10,000. And if you really have that audience, please let me know how you're doing this so that I can come and, like, you know, learn from you. But they easily support whatever amount of people that you need. Now, that being said, it also depends on what you want it for. Now, if you're going to be making a speech the way you are making a keynote speech, then probably that's not such a big issue. But if you're doing a workshop, and especially if you're doing coaching, facilitation, then you might not want it to go beyond something like 10, 15 people. Because the interaction of each person, you actually have to spend a bit more time interacting with each individual persons, because you can't just like glance over the room and kind of know what this section of the room feels, that section of the room feels. So you will need one-to-one, and that takes up a lot more time. So the maximum number of people, if you're going to do a workshop type thing, probably my advice would be 10, 15 people, not more than that. What's the maximum amount of time? I've done a whole day program on this. Honestly, it really depends on your audience's capacity to tolerate being online. The biggest issue is that they are seeing you through the screen, and therefore there's this, even now you probably can feel it. I've been talking for like a couple of minutes and you already get like a fatigue thing, because we're so used to the screen being designed by Hollywood or designed by Netflix, where there's something happening every 30 or so seconds. It's very fast paced as well, which is something that we probably won't do in a webinar. And so you will realize that people get fatigued very, very fast. So my advice, honestly, is if you are going to run people for a couple of hours, that you want to have a great amount of variety in your program content. As in, you can't be standing here talking for 8 hours, is literally what I'm saying. You need to have pre-prepared stuff, make them do polls, make them do workshop, make them do this and that. So yeah, you can run a whole day if you want. It will take a lot more thought than preparing one that is in real life. So we'll go into a little bit more detail, because I think later on somebody's going to like, and somebody actually fielded me a question about the whole day. So I'll go into a lot more on that later, but that's essentially how I kind of look at it. So it really depends, number one, on what you want to do. So what you want to do determines how long you can do it for, and then determines how many people you can do it to. Okay, that being said, online webinar studies have shown that webinars average 53 minutes, 53 minutes, everything including Q&A, which means your real content is approximately 30 minutes thereabouts. They actually say something like 22 minutes. So that's your kind of real content, because you need a little bit in front to introduce yourself, introduce people and so on. Then there's your content, and then you want to leave time for Q&A. And that Q&A is probably where you get the most engagement. So you don't want to skimp on that. So 53 minutes kind of webinar, you probably are only delivering content for about 22 minutes. That's what they found on average. The number of people that found webinar, sad to tell you that if you have 100 people sign up on your webinar, you can expect about 10, 15 people to show up. I can send you PDF done by, one of these webinar organizations on the APAC region, but yeah, the turn-up rate isn't high. And so you need to have that in mind. So depending on how many people you want to hit at the end of the day, you have to work your numbers accordingly. Okay, so this is for webinars that presumably is open, the kind that I do. If you have like a training program that you have like locked in with a company, then obviously that's quite different. Everybody almost is going to turn up. That once they turn up, the other issue is then I can be here online. Like you guys are all looking at my video. Do I know if you are looking at it? Well, Zoom will tell me if you switch to another window. Okay, but Zoom will not tell me if you leave the window running and decide to go and watch Netflix on your television. Yes, okay. Zoom will not tell me. I know there's a lot of ladies. If your son has come to ask you for a glass of water, and then you probably go and then give him a glass of water and then lay in bed with him for half an hour in order to, put him back to sleep and then come back to it. No, Zoom won't tell me that. All it tells me is if you switch windows, they will tell me that, and it actually tracks that. Okay, so that's called, and that's called they will tell you how many percentage. Let's say if you are online for an hour with me, like out of that, how many percent you actually have the window open. Okay. The next thing is some of the equipment platforms and technologies and so on. I'll tell you upfront, don't spend until you are very, very sure that this is something that you really, really, really want to do. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people go out there and buy really fancy equipment and then realize that, oh, something much cheaper will do the job for me because, you know, I am not Domingo Placido and you don't really care if my voice quality is like tip-top or if you can just hear me clearly. Okay, so I'm going to show you my equipment so you can have a, oh, okay, I can't show you my video, my webcam equipment because if I take it off, then none of you can see anything anymore. But I'll show you my mic. This is actually recommended to me by Julian Matters, which is one of my gurus. It's like a $100-odd microphone with like a little bit of attachment. It costs you maybe $200, and that's enough. I know a lot of people buy really expensive microphone, the kind that stands up straight. And if you look at mine, it does not stand up straight. Okay, a lot of people buy this kind that stands up straight and have stuff on the side, and mine doesn't. And I'll explain to you why. Okay, because I'm not a singer and I'm not singing. Plus, I'm not doing in live interviews. So the mic that stands up straight and has like mic stuff all around it. Okay. I'm not being very technical here, but you know this thing, this part that actually takes in the sound, it goes all the way down to the side. Those mics pick up ambient sound. And it's fantastic if you've got a band supporting you and you've got music, or fantastic if you're doing an interview and you want your voice from this direction to be heard and the interviewee's voice from that direction to be heard. But you see, there's only one of me talking. So when I talk, this mic will only pick up the voice if I speak directly to it. And you can't see it, but it's directly actually facing my mouth with about this much distance. It's just off the camera. So what happens then is that if my kid decides to run by or you know, downstairs they have decided that they are going to do yet another, you know, racing simulation of F1, you can't hear it, which is great. So unless you want that kind of ambient sound, don't pick that kind of ambient mics. And they cost a bomb. They cost like 300, 500 USD, that kind of thing. And yes, I know the top studios all have them, the Shure one and so on. It's not necessary. Yeah, save your money. And it doesn't necessarily give you better results. Okay, so this one is very good. It's very cheap. I will say this though. When Julian Matters recommended it to me, it was already on its last legs. Like, you know, they have got the new, more expensive models coming out, and this one, like, I can like barely find it anymore. So this being a year down the road, I'm sorry to tell you this, that you probably can't find this one anymore. But what you want to find is a voice, directional, a mic. Okay, I really am not technical about this. I can't remember the name of what these mics are called. Remind me later, I'll see if I can find out. Because when this kind of mics is when I speak, the force of my air makes the mic record. If I just talk up here and so on, you don't really hear me so well. So that's what the kind that you want, because it's designed for voice, and you really don't need the like super top high quality one dipped in gold and, you know, encrusted with diamonds. You just need something that is clear. That's it. Like buy the minimum possible. Next up is camera. I have a Logitech, which you can still get. It's an i20C. It's not the latest, fanciest Logitech. It's like 2-3 years ago. One. And why do I buy the one from 2-3 years ago? Because it does the same job. It does the same job. Okay, so I'm not, you know, I don't need you to see like fancy food stuff on my face. I'm not an idol. As long as you can see me clearly. It's not pixelated. That's all I ask. Okay, so that one cost me another $100. And the next one then is light. Okay, so I'm sure all of you have seen this round light, circle light. Okay, so that cost me like $15 on Lazada, something like that. Yeah. So that light makes you look nicer. It makes you look more human. There is one problem though. If you wear glasses like me, if I turn the light a bit, you will see that I have this glowing eyes of, you know, alienness. So I have to turn it facing away from me. the ideal one would be to actually have it turning facing away from me, and I have a reflector, the kind of white plastic thing that goes onto the side and then reflect it back on my face, and another one on this side. I actually have a slightly smaller one on this side. So you can, as you can see, this side is a bit brighter, this side my face is a little bit darker. Okay. It doesn't make me look like, okay, so if you want like a really professional light, you need one in front, one on this side, which is a slightly different angle, slightly less dim, and one from the back, so that, you know, you can be seen away from the background. Now, I don't have this like super high-tech, you know, professional lighting. And the reason is because my rationale is the same, which is, you know, as long as people can see me, they can see me clearly, it's not pixelated, it's fine. The biggest issue with not having enough light is that you are pixelated. I mean, you have taken photographs in low light, so you cannot understand. You're pixelated, and when you record it down and you want to like then make something of it, it's very hard. Sorry, I think I'm like talking people out. Okay, it's very hard because people can't. Can we have your, am I missing? Oh, yeah, well, okay, sure. You can have me on screen. Am I like, okay, hold on. Let me see now. Give me one moment. I will then stop share. Okay. Can you see me now? Better? Yes? Okay. So let me do that again. Okay, so this is the mic I have. It looks like this. It doesn't have the stuff on the side, as I said. This is the lights that I have, the round circle light that everybody buys for taking selfies with. And I have another round circle light, that's slightly smaller on the other side. Okay, so which is why you can see that I'm slightly brighter on this side, slightly less bright on this side. You actually don't want to be heavily lit on two sides, because then you get this crisscross dark shadow, and maybe it doesn't bother Raju, but it really bothers me to look like I got triple chins below. And I think it will bother most of the girls. So like you get this like really harsh shadow under your shirt, and then you look like you've got like triple chin below. Okay, so how much did you guys miss of that? Did you guys miss a lot of it? Not quite. Like tell me, let me know if you are missing it and you can't see anything. Yes, I can switch between the main screen and the top video by clicking it. Yes. Okay. So the next one then is what would you need to prepare? Okay, what are some of the costs involved? Okay, so I've kind of given you the cost, the lights cost, the things. Okay, so one other thing that I am actually preparing, and I haven't gotten around to doing it, is a kind of, it's like a banner. I'm sure you guys have seen it done for those kind of promotional site where they have an X frame, two wires behind that holds up something like a banner, and it is made of PVC, and it holds up straight, right? So that's what I need behind me. So what you see now is my wall, which of course looks terrible. What I need then is to get my logo designed, you know, put something behind me that looks nice. That costs you like $50 max, including the X-ray. Okay, it costs you like $50. Then at the end of it, you know, like if you're not doing anything anymore, just roll it up, fold it up. It slots into the space that an umbrella needs. Okay, so that's essentially the equipment that you probably will need. So camera, sound, lights, and a banner. That's it. All in shouldn't cost you more than like $400, around there, Sing dollars. Yeah. Okay. Questions on equipment?
No.
No. Okay. Anybody else has questions? Like speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, fine. Next is platform. I've switched several platforms and I've come back to Zoom. Is Zoom ideal for webinars? No. Is it ideal for meetings? Yes. It was designed for meetings. It's very good for meetings, but it's not very good for webinars. But one of the things that Zoom does have is, okay, it has three great advantages. One is everyone and your mother has a Zoom account. So everyone, almost everyone in the business world knows how to use Zoom. You don't have to teach them, they don't have to set up anything, they know how to use it. That's the first thing. Secondly, is that Zoom can accommodate a lot of webinar attendees if you do decide to grow. And thirdly, to be frank, for the equivalent things that they are giving you, Zoom is actually cheaper. Okay, so these are the 3 reasons. I've switched several platforms and actually come back to Zoom. It's not ideal, but for the time being, it's the best that there is. There's several others. There's Livestorm, there is GoToWebinar, there is it's actually quite a few out there. Ever webinars if you want to do webinar replays and things like that. So it's, I will say, I mean, I won't say that I recommend Zoom. I will just say that it really depends on what you want to do with the platform. Okay, so really think a little bit about where you want to go with it. If you want to do a lot of webinars, you probably need like a learning management system, not just a Zoom. If you just want to do coaching session, Zoom is great. Zoom is fine. Skype is just as good actually for that. And actually, since I'm on the topic, WhatsApp chat is also very good. I've done like my share of online coaching sessions on WhatsApp chat, and it's free. So there's actually quite a few platforms. It's not like I'm particularly like pushing Zoom or anything. If you get on Zoom, you need to know that you need a pro account, because if you don't get a pro account, you don't get an hour. Plus, you need a webinar account on top of that. So you need to pay some money, probably like $100, $200, that kind of thing. And then that's essentially it. Okay. I think that's all I'll say about platform. I honestly tell you that, go and try a few platforms. They all let you try it for free anyway. So try 5 or 6 platforms, kind of get a feel of what you like before you pick one. But if you're very, very busy and like everybody's calling you for webinars online, or like, oh, come teach me like tomorrow, then pick the one that you already know. If you know Skype, pick Skype. If you know Zoom, pick the one that you already know. Because learning these things can take a while. And that's the last thing. The last thing you want is for your platform to fail you at the point in time that you need it. Yeah, so that's the last thing. Yeah. And that being said, almost every month that I have a webinar on Zoom, Zoom thinks up of a new way to surprise me with technical difficulties. I tested like all my equipment. This morning I tested it at 7 o'clock, and then I went off for a bit, and then when I tried to get on at 8 o'clock, it doesn't work. So that's that. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Platforms, anything else? Technologies, platform cost? Yes, no? Hey, at any time, if you want to like interrupt me, like just interrupt me. Seriously, just interrupt me. Okay. Next is what you prepare in advance. The first thing is really think about what you want to do. Like really have it in your mind. What do you want to do? If you want to have a webinar, then please go and like sign up on edX or Coursera or whatever it is and take one free course, because you then get a real feel of how it's like when you are on the receiving end. So then you kind of get a feel of, oh, okay, that sucks, I'm not going to do that. Oh, that's not bad, I'll steal that idea. So really kind of think it through. I think before you like invest in anything or do whatever, ask yourself what is your end outcome, because a meeting is not an event, which is not a coaching session, which is not a summit, which is not a training program, which is not a workshop. So you really need to kind of think about, okay, what am I doing here? Am I giving a keynote speech? Am I doing a training program? What on earth do I want these people to walk out of at the end of the day? Do I want to inspire them? Do I want them to have actual information? Do I want them to practice some skill? Really have it in your mind. And ask yourself this, which is, how would I know that they know? I want them to learn a skill. How would I know that they know? How would I know that they've gotten it? So think about this and then work it backwards from there. And that, I think, is the most important prep. Everything else, logistics, handouts, slides, whatever it is, secondary to that. Because I think most of you are like very, very experienced trainers, coaches, because you know what kind of slides or whatever it is will get me what I want. But perhaps maybe some of you haven't taken the courses before. So just try and take a few courses and ask myself, okay, so this is how it feels like, and then, you can work backwards from there. And I trust that you guys all can work backwards from there and come up with the slides or whatever. There was a question about, do you send out your slides and your handouts in advance? Do you normally do it for a program? If you do, then by all means, please send out. If you don't, then no, it's fine. The slides and whatever will probably not be the main thing. I mean, I'm not even sharing my slides with you guys at the moment. If you want, I can share it with you, and you can have a look at it at the same time, and then you can like switch back and forth. Okay, so yeah, so that's in terms of the prep work that I want to talk about. The next one is support, co-facilitator, co-host, and I kind of want to walk you through a few different roles. Okay, now a co-host, a host is somebody that will probably be kind of like a masters of ceremony, somebody that keeps things flowing, somebody that introduces parts in and out and that kind of thing. And the reason you need this person is because people log in all the time. And if you are running a workshop where you need to brief people who have just come in, what is happening and so on, need to send them some slides, need to make sure that they're up to speed and so on, then you want somebody who is doing that. Also, you probably want somebody to kind of like, hey, hi, welcome everybody. Maybe personally welcome people who have come into the room, catch them up and that kind of thing. So a host is probably close to like a masters of ceremony kind of thing. This person can also be a co-facilitator or co-trainer, meaning that they're delivering content just the same as you. Okay, so that is a totally different role. Most of you have been in training before, so I don't want to kind of explain co-trainer, co-facilitator role. Now, there are also roles for guest speakers. Guest speakers are people who come in and just deliver little snippets of information. And why do you want to do that? Because it gets really boring hearing one person, right? I mean, you've heard me for like what, 20 minutes now, and you're like, oh gosh, I wish Shireen would stop speaking and some cute guy would get on the line and start speaking to us, like Brad Pitt. Yeah, so that's what guest speakers is for, is to like swap your face and provide a little bit more interest and so on. And that's what guest speakers for. Now, there are also programs where you may want to run breakout groups. Like for example, this meeting, for example, I can break you guys up into little groups. And each breakout group, you probably want to have a facilitator there to deal with it. Also, you may want to have translation. So Zoom allows you to do simultaneous translation. And you can then allow people who listen to, for example, Chinese, to only hear the Chinese soundtrack that comes from the translator, okay, and do simultaneous translation that way. So that's another role. And the third role is kind of like a coordinator role. So if you have a huge number of people on your webinars, you have like over 100 people on your webinars, and you are going to be running polls, you're going to be running questions, and so on and so forth, you definitely need a coordinator on the side who will handle your IT, make sure the questions, answers are fed to you, and so on and so forth. So even if this person never show their faces, you will want to have somebody like that. It's kind of like an IT support. Not IT support, it's kind of like a general, meta support person on the side. Okay. If you're running an even bigger one, you have like video, you have sound, you have people physically recording you as you're walking around the room and so on. Then you probably need like bigger team and one IT person to really make sure that the IT works. So these are some of the roles that are in it. How many you need really depends on what you want to do. As some of these roles can be arranged in advance. So like guest speakers, for example, can be arranged in advance. And so you really need to kind of think it through, what I want to do, how many people am I expecting, to kind of know what these people will come in and do. Okay, I've got a question, give me one moment. What's the question? Hello. Okay. If you can't use Zoom for security reasons, Skype is another one, WhatsApp, and FaceTime. The other way, if you really can't do video at all, is to get them to call in. Zoom actually has a landline that you can call in Singapore to just hear the voice off. Now, I'm sure all of you have experienced video conferencing calls before. If you think video is bad for engagement, try audio. So that's something that you would really kind of need to weigh it out and think. In terms of security, I actually think Zoom is one of the better ones. I won't say they're the best, but they're one of the better ones. Some of the newer ones, like, you know, Webinar Anywhere and so on, actually have a bit worse security. Yeah. If they are really like huge clients of yours and you really cannot use the platform, you can consider using a platform that is secure and just for them. So WordPress, for example, has tons of these kind of like webinar things. Their learning management systems. The biggest one probably is Adobe, but there's also stuff that's built on Microsoft 365, which allows you to kind of like, you know, use all your Word, PowerPoint and everything without having to change anything. And they have fairly kind of good security behind it. So that's another thing you can think about. It allows you to deliver webinars. Probably doesn't allow you to do the same, you know, kind of coaching and so on over them, but webinar, no issue. So it depends on what you want. Okay. Other questions? I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't answer your question for, you know, like, even if you ask a question and I said like a whole bunch of stuff and it doesn't answer your question, just tell me it doesn't answer. No, that doesn't answer my question. Please answer it again, and I will. It's no problem. The next one is the biggie that everybody seems to want to know. What are the ways to engage audiences at an online event? Now, the first thing I will say is this, that the offline engagement rules apply online as well. So if you have a whole bunch of people who are basically forced by HR to come for your training at under great duress, then yeah, you probably have to work very hard to engage them. If they had signed up and paid you $5,000, they will naturally be a lot more engaged. So that is half the issue. Now, the other half is then this. I spoke a little bit about it earlier on, which is that we are so used to seeing Hollywood, Netflix kind of video. Now, if you compare any Netflix show, even a really low budget one, with what you're seeing from me now, you will straight away realize, number one, that I am nowhere near as interesting, the pace is not so fast, the things don't change so much, and so on and so on. We can't be Netflix, but we can think about that and try your utter best to make things very different. Even if it's something like, I can get up and I can act. I can do some stuff. I can invite somebody to come in, talk to them. You can actually get animated characters to talk to you. That's kind of fun. Even if it's something like that. See, you suddenly realize, hey, you know, I feel more alert in the last few seconds. Not because, like, you know, you hate me or anything, but because that's what we are conditioned to be. Online, we are conditioned to be so entertained. And if we don't have that, you will find that you are like, I really want to be engaged, but, you know, her voice is putting me to sleep. So, you know, think about what you can do. Play games with them, run polls with them, get them to chat to you. You know, give them a voice, give them a video. If you want to run role play with them, by all means. I think Afni has just joined us, and Afni has been doing a lot of online coaching between, like, okay, you know, participant A and participant B coach each other. Those kinds of role plays can be done. They have been done, they can be done, not a problem at all. So think really of what you want to do, and I will give you a very sad statistic, which is 20 years ago, our attention span is roughly like 50 minutes. 10 years ago, it was roughly like 5 minutes. Currently, I have been reliably told that if you are on LinkedIn and you are longer than 32 seconds, people are not interested to look at you anymore. Now, this is in social media. So I expect you all to at least have you know, attention span of 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But the truth is that if I'm running a webinar, that will be my 5-10 minutes. I will talk, put in a poll, put in a webinar, put in something, change somebody else, you know, put in cartoons, swap my face out, have some stock videography run around. Do that. Plan it through, think about it, and do it. And make sure that every couple of minutes, something is changing and something is getting through to people. Now, that being said, people ask me, how about like, online in the face? Okay, so I'm going to show you why I maintain kind of this distance, okay? Because if I go close to you, you will finally feel really threatened. And it's even worse if I am very blunt, which is what some people do. Now, you are going to have nightmares tonight about the voice of Serene. And it's even worse if I'm very animated, because then you feel dizzy and you feel like you want to vomit. Now, I'm going to turn this so that I don't get alien eyes. If I'm very far away, you will kind of still be able to hear me because my voice carries, but you really don't feel like I'm very engaged with you. You kind of see all of this white space around me and you feel that I'm very distant. So the ideal is kind of to occupy the screen this way, but not occupy the screen this way. I don't know if that makes sense. If it's not making sense to you, like, cannot tell me, okay? So you kind of see most of me this way. You see a little bit of my shoulders. I'm kind of a person who talks with a lot of hands, right? So I want to see my hands. If you are not, and you are the kind that just stands there and talk about it, then maybe your hands are not so important after all. So it's up to you. But this is kind of, you really don't want to be too close, and you really don't want to be too far. Watch a few webinars and kind of feel how people are doing it, and then you will kind of get a feel about, okay, I don't like that one, I kind of like this one, and so on. And do something else that you may find it to be very painful. When I started, I found it to be very painful, but now I kind of like got used to it, which is watch yourself. Watch yourself. And you do it, watch yourself. Then go like, okay, I don't like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. Julian Matters, which I've mentioned once already, he's the guy who told me this, which is the reason why you feel uncomfortable seeing yourself in the video is because the left side of your face, left side, this side, is not exactly the same as the right side of your face. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, what you actually see is a mirror image of what everybody else in the world sees of you. And we get used to this mirror image. So when we see ourselves on video and we see that mirror image of what we usually see in the mirror, we feel uneasy and uncomfortable, but we don't know why. And that's why people say, oh, I can't stand to see myself in the video. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It makes my whole, like, my entire skin crawl and all my hair stand up. It's very simple. You're not used to seeing it. The antidote to that, keep seeing it. Sorry. You've had like, okay, I mean, I'm not afraid of telling my age. I've had 40 over years of seeing myself as a mirror image. So when I first see myself as how everybody else see me, of course I'm not used to it. But you see, after a while, and it is actually true, and you see yourself enough, you get used to it. You start to get used to the mirror image of what you normally see in the mirror. And try to remember this. This is what the whole world sees of you. You know, when you look at that alien face, that's what everybody else sees. Okay, so get used to it. The only way is to just keep seeing it and keep seeing it and keep seeing it until this feeling of like all your skin crawling and all your hair standing up goes away. And yes, it works. Yes, it takes a few months. But, you know, it works. Just to give you hope at the end of the time. It's the same of your voice. The voice that you hear goes through your bone and then it goes through the air. So what you are hearing is a double voice, a conducted voice and a convection voice. Nobody else hears this. This is your secret inner voice that nobody's allowed to hear. Everybody else only hears the voice that goes through the air and not the one that goes through your bone. And as a result, when you video yourself and you hear yourself, you're like, oh my goodness, is that squeaky woman me? Yeah, that's what everybody else sees, hears. Yeah. So, you know, when there's only one form of of transmitting your sound and not two, it is quite obviously not as rich, it is quite obviously not as nice, it is quite obviously not as full a voice as, you know, you hear yourself. But sorry, you know, that's what everybody else is here. So when you hear a voice, you're like, oh, it's disgusting. Everybody almost. Okay, I've only in my entire life met one woman who actually thinks her voice, when she hears it on recording, sounds like everybody else is like, my voice is disgusting. Join the club. Everybody thinks this. So what you do is same thing. You hear it and you hear it and you hear it, and after a while you're like, okay, that is my voice. Yeah, sad but true. You get used to it. That's it. Okay, so you know, see yourself, correct whatever that you did that you feel isn't so good. Every day you see yourself, every month that I see my own recording, I'm like, oh my goodness, how could I have done that? Yeah, but you know, that's how you get better. You know, I'm sure a lot of you went through that when you first became trainers, speakers, and so on. You look at your own videos and you go, how could I have done that? Yeah, you know, that's how it works. Next is, how do you get people to break into pairs, groups, or discussion? Okay, I mentioned it before already. There's a little like breakup rooms. You can toss them all into the rooms, so you can then hop room to room and see how the discussions are going. You can just say, you know, A and B, you pair up, B and C, you pair up, and they can chat with each other on the chat line, but then they can't have voice. So if you want them to literally, physically have video, have voice, you have to break them into breakup rooms. You have to. But if you just want them, you don't mind if they type the chats to each other. If you look at the chat, you will realize that you can type to one person only and not to anybody else. So that's something that you can do if you just want them to kind of like run a few quick messages to each other. Really depends on what you want to do. What if it requires to role play? What if it requires to role play? Let them role play. Yeah. But please forward people in advance. Because some of you may be watching this as you are sitting on the throne in the washroom. Some of you may be watching this as you are driving and you're not even looking at me, you're just listening to my voice. So if you want people to do role play, forewarn them. There will be role play so that people can kind of make sure that they're in a polite environment, make sure they have worn something. I had a couple of sessions with Avni, and during one of the sessions, a gentleman got online without his shirt. Now, a lot of us were girls on that call, and we really appreciated that, but you know, it really depends on the audience. So the thing is that you want to make sure that they know there's going to be role play, and you want to make sure that they are prepared. And for some ladies, they may want to put on makeup, they want to do their hair, they want to make sure that the lighting shows them up to be wonderful. So these are things that you may want to prep people. Now, what you do is then that you get the people to have the cameras on. And literally you're role playing it through your camera and you're role playing it through the screen. Now, is it going to work as well as a real role play? Depends on what role play it is. If the role play, vitally important, needs the lower half of your body, it might not be so successful because, you know, I can stand up and you might not see all of my body, even if I stand up, right? So I would have to be like really far away for you to see every of my body, and then I would be like this size. And so, yeah, if your role play vitally needs the entire body, like you're doing a body language one where you need to see the entire body, then maybe not so good. If you are trying to do a public speaking one where I need to see the entire body to do it, actually, public speaking probably is doable because there's only one person talking and you're looking at the whole body. But if you need two people to be interacting with each other, just to let you have an idea, I am standing about 5-6 feet away from my screen and camera. So if I'm trying to role play with somebody and engage with them, you need my whole body, I'm probably going to be like 10 feet away. And that's going to be like impossible to engage with the screen. 10 feet away, especially since I have a laptop, it's a tiny little screen, I have the like 13-inch laptop, so not possible. Design your role play so that if I only see your face, I only see some hands, you can role play with each other. Now, customer service, sales, all of it can all be done. Nothing that requires a lower half of your body, it can all be done. Okay, so really look at that. Look at that. And I know Cindy, which isn't like around today, she does body language and she wants to see the whole body. but you might not be able to. So I could like cross my feet until, you know, the counts come home below this and you won't have no idea. Okay, so that's about role plays. I know one of you had questions about role plays. So is this answering your question? Do you need more? Yes, no? Hello? Hello? Is there anybody there? Hello? Can you please hear me? Yes. Ah, yeah, okay. So this is some company using Hangout. Questions on role play, questions on engagement, questions on staff. Yes, no?
Hi, Serene.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Carolina here again. So
okay.
I have one question. When do you put people into breakout groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know that they are successfully connecting with each other? Because like I remember from attending a webinar, someone said, okay, now guys, I will put you to the breakout groups. And then I was trying to talk, I was trying to kind of like chat or anything. Nothing was happening.
Mm.
So my question is like you as a facilitator, so I would like to avoid that, right? Because like I was spending there 5 minutes on my own, feeling really weird and waiting for facilitator to put us back into the big room and resume the session. So how could you make sure that it doesn't happen to participants? How do you know that they are actually in the breakout rooms, that they are interacting with each other?
Okay. So I think I mentioned this when I spoke about the support that you need. If you're going to have 3 breakout rooms, you're going to have 3 co-facilitators. That's essentially what you need. So in every room, you should have a co-facilitator. You should have somebody who is there facilitating the discussion. People need to know which group that they are in, and people need to know that they're in breakout rooms. They need to know why they're in breakout room and what they're up doing. Because what's going to happen is exactly like what just happened, right? I asked the question, and it's complete silence. And the reason it's complete silence, I will be totally blunt with you, is because I'm fairly sure most of you have checked out. And the reason you have checked out is none of your fault. It's because you're used to a very high level of engagement and entertainment from TV, and I just can't provide it. So your mind wanders and it checks out. So when I then ask you to, oh, you know, I need you in a breakout room, and these people have checked out. They have gone to get a glass of water. They are checking their emails on the side and so on. You know, you are going to get an exact situation where nobody has any idea what's happening. I'm all sitting there, oh, shoots, I got sent to this room, and what am I supposed to do? So make sure that when they go to that room, there's a very clear slide of what you are supposed to be doing in this room. Make sure that you let these people know that, okay, we're going to put you in breakout room A, B, C, D, E. You guys are in group 1, you're in group 2, have a slide on that. And make sure that in every room there is a co-facilitator, and that you know, for example, if the co-facilitator comes back and tells you that, hey, you know, I've got this room, 5 people, 4 of them I can't even contact, there's only 1 person who's responding. Know that, okay, I'm going to put this person into another room, close that breakout room and move. So you cannot be one of the co-facilitators, is what I'm trying to tell you. You've got to have people in every room to make sure that things are happening, and you've got to have a contingency plan. Like, okay, this room, okay, how many minimum people does this breakout room need? If I have 5 people that got sent there, but only 2 are around, is that good enough? If that's good enough, then let them chat with it, and I'm not going to bother with it. You know, how many people minimum do I need for that breakout room to be functional? And then have that happen. Now, this is really talking about a kind of webinar whereby client is paying you to make the training happen. And you will be running it exactly as if it is a breakout room in real life. I mean, in real life, if you have 5 breakout rooms, you will have 5 co-facilitators, right? So that's for that kind of training. If you are doing a webinar where it's free and it's open and everybody can come or not come and the kind of thing, don't do breakout rooms, please don't. Because if you don't have the budget to have all these good co-facilitators there and get everybody to kind of work together, just don't do it. And also, the other problem is, if you're not sure how many people will end up turning up, you don't want to be engaging co-facilitators that then don't get used, or the other way around, you get much more people than your co-facilitators can deal with. So that you probably don't want to use breakout rooms for those kind of webinars. So it sounds to me like if they put in a room and they didn't even like give you a co-facilitator, it really sounds to me like one of those webinars where, free open webinar, then after I put them into people room and people are like, Also, to be very frank, if your company paid money for it and this is, something that your bosses will be looking at the end of this training, you will tend to pay a little bit more attention. Compared to a free webinar that you kind of logged in for fun, you're probably paying a lot less attention. So that's also another issue as well. Does that answer your questions? Yes, no?
Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's good. Okay. So next up is human touch. They said people are not going to have human touch and so on. Yes, it is true. And the reason it's true is because we are not digital natives. If you talk to a millennial or even a Gen Z person, then they will not tell you that some level of human touch, connection, and presence is missing. They will not feel that way. But we do. We do because we did not grow up using this as the means to connect. We did not grow up, and we grew up using, let's all get together and sit down and have a drink and have a meal, watch a movie together. And so we are used to that kind of interaction, and we feel that, this is not as good as that. So my first question is, who's your audience? If your audience are going to be Gen Xers, yes, we will feel something is missing. If your audience are going to be even older than that, they're baby boomers, you really need to work on it. And so what can you do? A couple of things. I will be very blunt and tell you this. I grew up in a background where, we made ourselves up and look nice and put on makeup and blow our hair and wear a nice suit to give a presentation. But that is not what the world wants anymore. And you may realize this, I don't put on makeup, I don't blow my hair, my shirt is just a plain t-shirt. Why? Because authenticity is what's missing from the world. If you are very, very packaged, people actually are connected less with you. So you will realize this, that when I talk to you, I talk to you. I don't it's not a prepared speech, and it's not like it's, I'm all packaged up and that kind of thing. And that is one way to really feel that connection, that I am real, I'm with you, I'm connected to you because we are authentic. That is one way to do it. What else can you do? Knowing people by name, which is why I strongly encourage you guys to sort of introduce yourself to each other, because it allows you to kind of understand, this person is online, this person does it, that person does that. Instead of just seeing names or a couple of words on screen, it means nothing, yeah? So getting people to introduce each other. Now, can we have conversations? Can we have games? Yes, we can. But does it necessarily make you feel that it's more human? I don't know. It does depend on what kind of games you're playing, honestly. It can increase engagement. It can increase, the simplest thing to do is a poll. Studies after study after study have shown that if I just give you a poll, your engagement level will go up. In fact, I'm going to try it right now just to prove to you that it actually works. Just give me a moment. I'm going to now poll you and say, what you guys want to be polled on? Okay, I haven't prepared this poll, so that's not okay, that's the other thing. If you want to poll people, you have to prepare the poll questions and you have to, tell people about it and so on. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to put a chat room out, put it out on the chat room, okay? And I'm just going to say, Are you enjoying this? Okay, which is a really inane question that you get asked a lot on webinars. But any question that you throw and you make people type yes, no, click a yes, click a no, will engage them. And I'm torn about it. On the one hand, all the research shows that it works. On the other hand, as a trainer for years and speaker for years, I feel it's kind of a cheap trick, and you might not want to do this a lot, otherwise it runs the risk of cheapening your session. So use judiciously is the way I look at it. Okay. But any kind of like engagement, this and that, and so on, is anything. Even if I tell you shout a yes, write your name on the screen, anything will increase engagement. But does it increase humanness? Does it make you feel that, oh, we are more human living together? Maybe not. That's the way I look at it. Maybe not. Does it make you feel more human to have actually said that you're on the poll? I mean, you kind of feel it for yourself, right? Are you enjoying this? Does it make you feel more human? Maybe. I would actually prefer that to just tell people, just interrupt me. I know you're all very polite people and you don't want to interrupt me, but interrupt me. Ask a question, engage in conversation with me, object to what I'm saying, and so on. And the bigger the group, the harder it is to get them to do this. So you might want to plant, in the sense of people, get a few questions started, because once the first few, I don't know what this, I used to think it's Singaporean, but actually now I have audiences from all over the world and they're all like that, which is nobody wants to be the first one to ask the question. They want to be like the fourth one or the fifth one, So you got to plant a few questions first, and then people will start to ask. Okay, so that's another way. What else can you do to make it feel more human? Give everybody faces, give everybody videos. Like 10, 12 of us, you may have noticed, none of you want to be on video with me, but you know what? You all have video rights. You all have sound rights, And if it's going to be a small training session like this, 10, 12 people, seriously, get everybody to be on video, chit chat with people, everybody can see, and you can actually see people's reaction. That actually helps. I can't think of what else can help you, except to say that honestly, it is a function of growing up. And like all functions of growing up, you do it often enough, you get used to it. You don't kind of feel the, this is such a loss of connection and so on, as much as you do initially, and you get used to it. I think that's about it. There's a feedback that if people are speakers online, people won't come. Yes, because among the Gen X and among the baby boomers, who else is older than baby boomers? Wartime people, I guess. There is this perception that online is just not as good. Online is just not as good. But, we are slowly being phased out, and the new generation is coming in, and they don't really have that. And in fact, I've spoken to many millennials and many Gen Zs. They prefer to consume their training online, drip-fed, micro sessions, on demand, in real time. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it means that I don't want to go for a one-day training session on good communication skills anymore. What I want is right now, when I am going to walk into a vital client meeting, I want to be able to click on something or tap something on my phone and instantly get a 30 seconds quick tip on the first thing you need to do when you walk in to see a client. So this is what we mean by drip feed training, which is I feed you in little drips and drops, and I make it, in real time. At the moment that you need it, I train you. Now, what does that mean? Have you guys seen the Matrix movie? Like, if you've not seen the Matrix movie, please object now on the chat group. Okay, you've all seen it. Good. Do you remember that in the Matrix movie, they could like, okay, I need to drive a car. Oh wait, somebody's objecting to it that they haven't seen it. Yes. Oh wait, am I like, okay, somebody's like telling me that. What time is it now? Is it like really late? Sorry. I haven't been, hang on, let me, oh, okay, it's 19:07. Okay, I'll wrap it up soon. Okay, what I was gonna say is this. In the Matrix movie, do you remember that when you need to drive a car, they just like upload it into your brain and then, ta-da, you can drive a car. That's what people want now. At the very moment when I need to drive the car, tell me how to do it. At this moment when I need to, you know, talk to a client and I do not know how to say the first opening line, tell me how to do it. Tell me now, tell me at this moment before I get in, on my phone, on my laptop, on any device that I have right now, I can take a quick glance at it, steal myself and walk in and deliver it. That's what people are looking for. And actually, millennials and Gen Zs prefer that form of consumption of information. And so I think that's going to be where the world is going to in the future. And just as an aside, nothing to do with webinars, but you know, they're hacking the brain, and eventually we will be able to do it like Matrix does. And then all the trainers in the world will be, you know, out of job. Okay, so I'm sorry that I've dragged on and on and on. It's like 9:39. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you want to cover? Anything at all? Have I covered the full day thing? I have, right? I can't remember whether I've covered it. Okay, so I'll just say, okay, if you have a full day program, you really need to think of it as a series of small webinars. Plan the breaks, plan projects, plan stuff for people to do offline. So you can't be standing there delivering training the whole time. Just like in real life, they need to have group work, they need to have projects, they need to have this. If you want to look at how projects work, you can look at Padlet, you can look at SCORM, you know, give them a block of information. Okay, all going to look at this SCORM. SCORM is a package, a packaged webinar information, like a packaged course, not a webinar. So you have a little bit of interaction in the beginning. Hello, everybody, introductions. Throw them a package. They will look at a package. It can be VR. It can be, you know, AR. It can be anything. Once they have done that package, they will then proceed onto a project. They can be on Padlet or any of the co-working environment where you can keep track of what they're doing. And then you can have your co-facilitators help you with it, or you can look at each one in turn, up to you. Then we all get together, everybody pitch around, we chit-chat, share your learnings and so on. So it's not going to be 8 solid hours of you staring into the screen on your earpiece and 8 solid hours of me staring into the camera talking to you. It won't work. It just won't work. Okay, so if you are going to run a whole day program, that really is something you need to think about. Really. And make it clear where the breaks are. So when you have a break, make sure it says on the screen, we are on break now. Because somebody, I'm sure, out of all your team, or your people have just gone to the washroom and they came back and they're not just sitting there for 2 minutes going, where's everybody? Why is there nothing on right now? So have it on there that this is our break. Release the schedule in advance and make sure that people know when the breaks are, so that when and try your utter best to keep it. So I'm not doing a very good job of it right now, but try your utter best to keep the time, because webinars, people don't have any other way of keeping track. I mean, it's just as true in real life training as it is in webinar. People are not happy when you run over time. Okay. I think I've covered everything. Those of you who need to leave can just please leave. I know some of you need to get to leave. Oh yes, I promised to tell you guys about this engagement thing where speakers who are used, speaker trainers, all of us who are used to having this audience feedback cannot get audience feedback. The thing is this, you need to train yourself to look into the camera and speak to the camera. And all I can say is this is just something that you will have to train until you get used to it. It's a bit like getting up on stage and speaking from the stage. Initially, it freaks you out like nobody's business. After a while, you're like, oh, yeah, let's go on the stage. Oh, no problem. That's how it works. It's just another skill. You just have to train yourself to do it. That's the first thing. Second thing is give everybody video. See their reaction online. Only works if your people are like not very big. Third thing, if you have like, okay, you have like 150 people on your webinar, get somebody who is there to take in all their comments and information and so on and so forth, and feed it to you in your earpiece. Feed it to you in your earpiece. Have your earpiece here, and then they will tell you as you are talking about, oh, people have seem to have this kind of questions online, people seem to, so that you can get a feel of how people are. So whoever is this person has to be engaging, and you have to keep throwing questions. Okay, like for example, what I do, type in all the questions that you have or whatever it is, and get somebody to monitor that and feed it to you. That's if you have a huge audience. So these are a couple of ways that you can do it, but I would tell you honestly, the first step is get used to speaking to a camera. It takes a while. You can do it. It's a skill like any other speaking skill. Okay. Somebody shout out if I have any other questions that I missed, honestly. Anybody else have any other questions? Yes, no? Objections, comments? You guys have 50 seconds.
Serene?
Yes. Yes.
Karina here again.
Yeah.
So I don't have objections and I don't have questions. I wanted to say that it's amazing sharing, and I love your energy, and I love how you keep going for such a long time. Reflecting on what you said about whole day programs, I do have experience with short webinars, like 1 hour max, right? And now, kind of like digesting what you said about whole day programs, I actually don't think it's such a good idea. Because the reason is like it takes a lot of energy to pay attention and to listen and to kind of like being focused, even with breaks. I don't see people sitting in front of the screen for all day just like listening and trying to absorb. And then in the same time, I don't see myself having such amount of energy throughout the day. But my idea, maybe someone will use that as well. I'm thinking, because like I've done the blended learning, and I'm thinking now, instead of doing all program online, maybe 2 or 3 webinars that are recorded for people who cannot make them, and then the follow-up with role plays and interaction and everything offered to the client as half a day. So altogether, it would make more or less 1 day, 1 full day program. But for the time being, whenever we are, for the time being, we are not ready, right? With the virus situation, nobody knows. So it could be offered as like every week, there is like 1 hour of webinar, live webinar with instructor recorded. Anyone can join, anyone can ask questions. And then for those people who attended the webinars or listened to the recording, then there is a second part of the program, face-to-face half day, for example, as we could sell it as like, full day program. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe someone else would like to take that idea. Maybe they want to modify it, but this is what I'm kind of considering at the moment.
I think that because I don't know your subject matter and what it requires, so I honestly won't be able to tell you whether it's doable as a full day. What I can tell you is that I have done a full week's program online and only online. And that's the system that I shared with you earlier on, which is in the morning, I get together, everybody logs in, everybody's on face, everybody's on video. We say hello, we do introductions, we run a quick sort of game, icebreakers as usual. And then I split them into groups, and each group gets access to this SCOM package. The SCOM package is actually VR. Not VR. It's okay. it's kind of VR, but it's not VR with the kind of goggles we are actually inside an accounting. It's like the game environment where, you know, if you've ever played role-playing games before in your life, that's essentially what it's like. So we set it up, they go into an environment, they get different pieces of information, they put the information together and so on to solve an actual case study. So we got people to role play that case study, and then they had that. And after that, they are to, you know, discuss among themselves. They mostly used WhatsApp, actually, being very high tech. They mostly use WhatsApp group, and they use Padlet. So they use Padlet and use WhatsApp group, and they need to put together a presentation on Padlet. And then a member of the group then represents the group to present to the rest of the people. And actually, that it's a replication of what I would actually do in real life. If I set a case study, they will all go and look at it, and then after that, it's just that instead of having a paper case study where I send it to them, I made it into kind of like a video thing, you know, where people are acting it out, so that it makes it a little bit more interesting. That's all. But they then go off to go and discuss by themselves in their own way, and then they came back with a presentation. They each presented, and after that, other groups were then given some time to discuss in their own WhatsApp group and make kind of like a response to their presentation. So each group then had to make a response, and you know that took us to like 11:30 around that. And then I did a quick wrap up, 20 minutes, and then we all broke for lunch. So the actual FaceTime that I was with them is something like 20 minutes in the beginning. They each did presentations, which I then did like a half an hour summary. So you'll probably see me less than an hour doing exactly this kind of thing to you for less than an hour throughout the whole half a day. And then we went for lunch, we came back. The second half of it was skill practice. So we got the groups to practice it and then came back with their presentation. So I literally tell them that, you know, I don't care how you are going to coordinate this, but coordinate it and show us, you know, show it to us. And they did. I mean, you'll be surprised what people will do if you give them the opportunity to step up to it. And so the afternoon was practice sessions. They liaise with each other. I'm not privy to their WhatsApp group, but I later found out that almost everybody used WhatsApp group, actually. And some of them use actual physical telephone. Like, oh, I called up the guy and spoke to him. So, you know, whatever people can do, they will do it, you know. And then at the end of it, we then again have a closing presentation, that kind of thing. So that's more what I'm looking at, the whole day, but not really the whole day of this, because you will not be able to have the whole day of me downloading information to you. 15, 20 minutes of this kind of download, and then next. You know, if they have information they need, throw them a whole package, give them case study, let them role play. How are they going to role play everything? Not my problem. I give it a role play, do the role play, come back and present it to me. And people shot videos of themselves. They actually like stitch together, right? One video of you, one video of me, one video of you, one video of me, one video of me, as if it's a conversation. People stitch videos, people send it up. Other groups, compulsory commentary, because if not, it's very easy to just turn off when somebody else is presenting, right? So compulsory commentary. And then at the end of it, they have to submit like I won't say it's a test or exam, but I will say that I did get them to submit a kind of learning journal, because I needed to know at the end of it how much they got out of it. So that one I did. So that's basically it. Questions?
No question, but thank you so much. That's a wonderful idea. And definitely, I now see that this is something more doable. So I will think over, because I have one program that client is asking if I could possibly run all day. And I didn't see myself sitting there all day in front of a screen. But now we've kind of like, as you said, like, okay, give them the assignment, then they go, they do it, they present, and so on. yeah, it probably needs special preparation and extra preparation.
Yes.
But now I see from your experience that it is something that we could definitely attempt, and especially right now having more time on our hands, that it would be good period of time to start working on it.
Okay.
Thank you, Serene.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for coming by, ladies. Okay, I think we are like the only 3 people left now anyway. So thank you so much for coming by. See ya. Bye-bye. Take care. And all the best.
Thank you, Serene. Good night.
Good night. All the best. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See ya. Thank you. Bye-bye.